We're just talking about feet pics and tea over here.
Yeah, I realize if you watch on YouTube that I don't wear socks in these videos, so getting some free foot content, but that's alright.
Yeah, so zoom into Amanda's feet today.
Gotta charge you guys.
Yeah, starting after this episode, we're charging for the podcast.
You'll be getting a bill soon.
Just for Amanda's feet. Not me, though. Mine are, I'm gatekeeping my feet. You know what's funny is, I will always bring up, like, wanting to sell feet pics. And the other day, Nick was like, this is a problem. Like, you keep talking about this, and I don't think that you're joking anymore.
We were talking about it one day, and we were like, we made it all the way to, like, coming up with a name for it, and it was Toes and Hose.
Oh! Okay, if that's not trademarked, we are trademarking that right now.
Yeah, we're taking that one.
That's funny.
Yeah. But welcome, everyone, to BookShelved podcast.
Yes, this is about books, not about feet.
Yeah. They're going to be like, what do we click on?
I know, they're like, okay.
Yeah, welcome.
Welcome.
Thank you, everyone, who listened to the last episode.
I know, YouTube is popping off right now.
It seems like all the Spotify listeners shifted over to YouTube, and that's okay.
And that's fine, we're cute, so.
Yeah, we'll take the compliment.
Yeah.
It's okay.
My voice sounds a lot better when you see my face with it, I think.
Yeah, yeah. But I hope you guys all enjoyed last week's episode. It was really fun to film. But this week, we are basically just talking about all the fun new books coming out that kind of have been announced or were announced a while back, and we just want to talk about them.
Yes.
Some things going on in the publishing industry.
Books to movies?
Yeah,
possibly.
movie adaptations. We're just kind of chatting about just the industry in general, and
yeah,
it's going to be fun.
Yes, it's going to be a lot of fun. But first, Amanda's read like so many books in the last couple of weeks. So what are you reading now?
Right now I am reading 2 books. I'm reading Wildfire by Hannah Grace. Have you read, is it called Icebreaker? It's about a hockey player and a figure skater. Well, yeah.
I almost buy that book every time I go to Barnes & Noble.
It's good.
It's always right when you walk in, and it's like romance in the first, I guess, aisle, essentially.
Yeah, the table there.
And I always look at it, but it's never what I'm there for, and I have to just put a halt on it, but I think I just need to get it now.
It's good. It was probably like a 3.5 to 4 star read for me, but I think about it all the time. So I'm
Why
like,
was it a 3.5 for you?
I think it was a little too long. I remember being like, this is a long book.
How long is it?
Gosh, like twice the size of this, maybe? No. Like, probably 1.5.
Like, it was 1,000 pages.
It's big. I don't have a physical copy of it. I read it on ebook, but it was big, and I think it could have been shorter, and if it was shorter, I think it would have been a better, higher rating for me. But this is the second. It's the Maple Hills series.
Oh, it's
so
of the
this is
series.
the second one in the series.
So you're reading a series book.
Yeah.
Okay.
A companion series, and it's really good. This is about 2 people, and everyone says that they met at summer camp, but that's not true. They met before.
Oh.
You guys are
dun
wrong.
dun dun.
They had a one-night stand. Literally a one-night stand right before they went to work. At this summer camp, and they didn't know that each other would be at the same summer camp. And so then they show up at camp, and they're like, and then
that's giving the same vibe as when people that don't like each other have to go stay in a room together, and there's only one bed.
Yeah, so this is like forced proximity, yeah.
Yes.
And it's really funny because there's a rule that you can't, like, no fraternization between staff members, and their one-night stand was, like, amazing, and they both, like, super vibe with each other, so it's interesting. I'm only on page 102, and it's really cute and fun, and I'm excited.
I love the colors that they chose for the cover, which is pretty shallow, but that's something that I would choose.
I judge books by the cover.
Yes.
I will buy books because of the cover, but
the front of it is kind of reminding me, you were just showing me the Emily Henry Happy Place special edition. And
it's kind of same vibe.
It's almost exactly the same vibe, especially because it's summer, and that's summer.
Yeah, I didn't even put that together. That's interesting. I wonder who did the artwork, if it's the same artist. Interesting.
Well,
I'll
back to publishing and all that fun stuff.
And then the next one I'm reading on ebook, and it is, I think it's called the Eden Hills.
Wait, is that your
This is my Kindle, yeah.
Oh,
This
that's
is
so cute. It's a little square.
Yeah, it's an Oasis.
Oh.
So it's got the, like, bevel, and then it's got the...
You know, I haven't converted yet, but I will at some point to Kindle.
I love this one. I had the Paperwhite, and then I didn't like how... I don't know if the newer generation Paperwhites are different, but if I was, like, reading like this, and I flipped to this hand, the screen wouldn't rotate.
Oh.
And then, so if I moved it to this hand, I still had to use my other hand to tap over here. So I couldn't read with one hand, and it drove me nuts.
And I feel like that's why you would be using a Kindle, is to easily access it.
Yeah, and then...
It? Yeah, access it.
Access.
I was thinking accessible and access. I love English.
Yeah. But so I got the Oasis, and I absolutely love it. It's awesome. It rotates, and when it rotates, the buttons switch too.
Was this an Amazon purchase?
Yeah, Amazon Kindle. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Amazon.com coming through.
Yeah, Eden Hills, I think, is the name of the series. It's another romance companion series.
Oh yeah, the book.
Yeah, the book. Oh yeah, we're talking about books.
Oh yeah, we're talking about Kindle sermon.
It's called the what is it called? It's really, really good. Please hold. Indigo Ridge.
It's funny because last week you're talking about how much you're only into standalone books right now,
I know.
and then you're reading two.
But companion series to me are like standalones.
When I think of a companion
Lucy
series,
Score.
I think of you.
Mm-hmm.
Because,
oh, really?
Yeah, because I feel like every book that you read, you're like, it's a companion series. I remember the first time I was like, what's a companion series?
Well, it seems like romance books now are doing that. Like, there's always, like, a romance book that comes out, and then maybe people are like, I really want a story about this side character. And then they're like, okay, let's write it.
So you would consider the Lucy Score books a companion series?
100%.
Well, you
because
haven't
that's all
read
their friends.
But there's still...
And it's the brothers.
But even though if there's the same things happen, or not same things, but it continues the main storyline.
Yeah, that's
still a companion.
So a companion series is like a group of brothers, and then each brother gets their own book to tell their romance story.
So it's a companion series when the main character isn't the main character of the next book, even if the same thing, like same storyline's happening.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the Lucy Score
quick
series
definition of a companion series.
This is a companion series, Bridgerton. Because this is 8 kids or whatever in the Bridgerton family, and each kid gets their own book telling their own romance story and their own background story.
That's completely different than the show. Ish, right?
No, show's the same. So
maybe I haven't watched the other seasons of it.
Have you watched the second season?
I don't think I have.
It follows the oldest brother. So it goes Daphne, the oldest brother, and then it's just each and then this is Penelope's story, but also one of the other brothers.
I like that I haven't seen the second series, I don't think, but I like that they went with how the book went.
Yeah.
Because I feel like they probably would have gotten a lot of hate for not following
the book. Go off a little bit on their own because they create more... The show created more stories for background characters than the books have. Like the girl, in the first...
Wait, really?
Yeah, in the first season, the girl that comes and stays with Penelope's family, and she... The mom was like, yeah, we'll take her in and put her through, like, the, whatever it's called, the season or whatever, and is like, she's probably, like, ugly, and she shows up, and she's, like, this beautiful girl, and she ends up... All the guys like her and stuff. Do you remember that?
Like, briefly. I really should rewatch that show. It's been...
And she ends up getting pregnant. Or she is pregnant from her, like, lover, from the man she's in love with back home. Oh, I'm gonna rewatch it.
You know what I'm getting confused with right now is that show that came out about the chess player.
Oh, Gambit? The final Gambit? Are you confusing that with Bridgerton?
Yes.
What?
I'm like, when I'm thinking of Bridgerton and, like, all the outfits, and then I'm picturing her. I don't know why.
Weird.
I know, so I'm like, you're like talking about it, I'm just like, chess. I'm like literally thinking chess right now.
Yeah.
I need to rewatch it. I need to read the books, and then I need to watch it.
But anyways, that character doesn't exist in these books.
Oh.
At all. Yeah. So they totally created, like, more of a storyline for that family than there was in the books.
That's interesting. I feel like because usually they just cut things out in shows instead of adding in new. So that's that's
that's
cool,
true.
I guess. A little opposite.
Yeah. But that's what I'm reading. Oh, But I do want to talk about what I just finished reading because I'm obsessed.
Yes, what was it?
Butcher and Blackbird.
Oh
my gosh.
Yes. I am fascinated after the description you just gave me.
I listened to it on audiobook, and I'm so obsessed with the people who narrated it because I felt like I was watching a movie. Like, they were so good. There's two people, so one for the guy and girl. And the guy is from Ireland, so he had, like, the Irish accent. And then the girl seems American. But they did so good, and their banter was so good. And there was also, like, sound effects and...
Do you think they recorded it in the same studio?
I've been wondering that, and I don't think so. I don't think I don't know if they...
Oh,
I couldn't look at someone and read the smut that is in that book.
Oh my god, that's so true.
Could you imagine
staring at... That is so true. Oh my gosh.
No, I couldn't.
I'm gonna have to listen to this just because I want to...
It's so good. I binged it in
It's like rated R. Rated extra R.
Yeah. It's so gory, and for those people listening and they don't know, this is, I realize I'm like, I'm so excited. Turn my body a little bit.
Look at the camera now.
Yeah.
Our profiles.
But no, it's about murderers who murder murderers. It's like Dexter, but hilarious and with a romance.
Like Dexter and You.
Yeah.
Made a book.
I haven't watched all the later seasons of You, but I understand that it's kind of...
Okay.
It develops into that.
Okay, how many seasons of You have you watched?
Like one.
Okay. You need to watch the one where he gets married. And then tell me about this book again. Okay. Because what you're telling me is You season 2 or 3.
I wonder, it'd be crazy if like that was like based off of You. You know, like a fan fiction of You or something.
Oh.
I mean, I'm not saying that's what it is, but...
I want to read the books that You is based off of. I can't remember the name of them.
Aren't they called You?
I don't think that they are. No.
I remember seeing books with the TV show covers on it.
Oh.
So, but I don't know if it was called You or not.
Well, before we get off the topic of Butcher and Blackbird, I want to give a shout out to you of this rebinding that you did for the YouTube watchers. It is like a leather background, and then you can see the cover holographic. Thank you. But it's super cute. You have a good quote on the back, but you did a really good job. It's been really fun watching all of the new books that you have been rebinding. Yeah,
I was like a little over halfway through the audiobook, and I was like, I need to bind this book. And I literally ran out, and I did that whole thing in a day.
Did you buy the book that day, or did you already have the book? Oh,
okay. I'm dying. I have to have my own edition of this.
Are you gonna reread it now that you have the actual copy?
I don't know. Because we were just talking. Like, we want to do rereads, but we have so many books that we already own that we want to read.
I feel like that with all the Emily Henry books. I feel like I should have given them their space to just appreciate them. But now they're all just...
Yeah. Because when you first got into reading, you devoured Emily Henry.
Oh my god. I was like reading a new book every 3 days. Like, it was crazy. And then I realized that that is not a healthy way for me to read a book.
It's not a healthy way of consumption.
All at once. No, it's not. And now I'm like mad at myself because of all the Emily Henry books. They're just all so good.
Yeah. I was actually talking to Johan about this. That's my husband for people listening. But he was talking about, when we were talking about the audiobook thing, because quick disclaimer, in last week's episode, I said that I unfollowed somebody because the amount of audiobooks, they listened to in a month, like, irritated me. Mm-hmm. But what I was trying to get at with that whole spiel, and I didn't really finish my thought process during that, but is seeing someone consuming that much in a month made me feel bad about how little I consume in comparison. Yeah. So she's reading like 35, 40 books a month, and I'm reading like 9.
Air quotes, reading.
Yeah, like listening.
Not even listening. And
right. Right. And so then I listened to that back, and I was like, oh man, I gotta clarify on that, because I don't care if that's how people want to read books. Or listen to books, and that's their prerogative. it doesn't make me mad that I'm so mad that's how they're choosing to spend their time. Like, no.
So
it's just, it was making me feel bad because I'm like, it made me be like, maybe I need to listen to audiobooks super fast so my number can go up. No, like, I don't need to do that. So I unfollowed her.
This brings up a really good segue into a comment that we got on our YouTube page about audiobooks. So
shout out Patty.
Shout out Patty. The question was if we feel like audiobooks should be considered into your monthly like read books.
Yeah, do we consider listening to audiobooks as reading? And this is a really controversial
I know. I want to hear your thoughts on this before I share my thoughts on it.
You know, this could go I'm shy to like I'm scared to say things because people get so upset about things, but I don't consider listening to an audiobook as reading. I consider it to listening. Like, if I'm like, hey, I've read Butcher and Blackbird. I listened to Butcher and Blackbird, but I didn't read it. And it's so weird because, like, who cares, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
But to me, reading is, like, an actual thing you do. Like, reading is, like, looking at words, reading a book, where listening is definitely just audio, and it's not.
That is not the answer I thought you were going to say.
Really?
I thought you'd be like, it's the same.
Now, that being said, I do take my audiobooks and I put them into my tracker app that I use. And it counts towards, like, at the end of the year when I'm like, my total books, I should say, instead of my total books read this year, my total books consumed. But I don't listen to a ton of audiobooks. But, so it does go into that number. But I still don't count audiobooks as reading. And I'm not shitting on people who listen to them. It's just, to me, it's not the act of reading.
It's definitely different, in my opinion, too. I guess for me, it feels way different because when I can't listen to audiobooks because I will tune out.
Yeah,
and then it's like it's still
that's
going,
why I can't listen to them.
And then I'm not actually doing like the mental work that it takes to read because like reading is easy, but reading can be challenging sometimes. Yeah. Also, just like giving yourself that time to sit down and read, whereas with an audiobook you can plug it in like put it on, and then do chores or something where you can't read and do chores. So I feel like an audiobook is very much like a podcast in my opinion, and like it's not the same, but it's more like that than sitting down and reading, because that not only is it putting in the work of reading a book, but there's some sort of mental, I guess, not help. That's not the word I'm looking for. But there's just some self-care, I guess, involved with, like, actually sitting down and reading and, like, taking that time out of your day to sit down and read. Audiobook, yes, that too. But I don't think I've listened to enough audiobooks to really give it a fair shot. Mostly because I have an issue with Amazon.
Oh, yeah.
And it's, like, through like, the audiobook or whatever is, like, through Amazon. That's just my own thing.
We talked about the Amazon thing a little bit, but I'm gonna move this because I feel like I can't see your face. Anyways, what was I gonna say? Now I lost my train of thought. I do find myself listening to audiobooks more than I have in the past, just because with Leo.
You're a busy mom.
It's hard, so I'll listen to a little bit of audiobooks when I'm putting him to bed, like when I'm just sitting there holding him and like trying to get him to fall asleep. I'll listen to audiobooks, but. That's
except this last book.
Yeah, except this last one. Jeez, I was like, I couldn't stop. And usually with audiobooks, I tune out too. I've started so many audiobooks and I've had to stop them because like I'm like halfway through it and I'm like, I have zero clue what's happening. Like, where is this book even going? And like, it's been books where people rave about it and say it's one of the best like books they've ever read, and I'm like, I've missed everything.
That's how reading was for me for years, which is why I didn't like reading for so long, because I would read a whole chapter and I'm like, what did I just read? And that happened a lot when I would have to read something for school, and then I was like, whatever, at least I did the reading. But now that I'm like reading for me, I'm like, that matters. Like, I just paid money for this book. I need to know what I'm reading actually. But now I don't feel that way, and if I do feel that way, then I just set it down and we'll pick it back up later and we'll just reread the page.
Right. Yeah, that's an interesting topic. You know what's funny is the day that we posted the podcast last week, and then I realized that I said that part wrong, and because, like I said, I don't care if people listen to audiobooks, but I started seeing this graphic that somebody posted on their Instagram start circulating on people's stories, and it got me so like
About
it was
what?
like it was saying like stop hating on people with how they choose to consume books.
That only got popped up because our phones are listening to us. That's why that happened.
But like, it was like people I follow and stuff posting it, and I was like, oh god, and like people were going off about it, like, this makes me so mad when people have their opinions about other people's stuff, and I was like, I get it, you know, like, I'm sorry, I'll put a disclaimer on. It wasn't about me, it was, that's weird, but
I know, seriously, like, you're gonna be offended by what we have to say right now.
Who are we?
I
know. But yeah, that was really funny, and what I was getting at with before we got on this whole tangent is I was talking to Johan about we were talking about consumption, and he's like, I don't understand how people can listen to books that fast on like 2.5 to 3 speed. He's like, at that point I don't think it's reading, it's consumption, it's just trying to get a number higher. And I was like,
It almost reminds me of that argument with this generation is just needing instant gratification. Yeah. And so it's like they need to get cover to cover, whether, you know, what audiobook version, and they just have to have that. And I think it really does. I think it says more about them than it says about other people.
And it's all about what we were talking about last week with the pressures of social media and stuff. And and people see, like what happened to me is I saw this person listening to all these books a month, and I started being like, well, do I need to do that so that I can say that I read more and be seen as a bigger reader, and I don't know, like validated and like all this stuff. And it's wild because I'm glad I unfollowed instead of like allowing myself to just like be like, yeah, I'm gonna have headphones in all the time. Like there's this one like no, I'm not gonna say that, never mind.
And I will say,
I'm not gonna say that
as a disclaimer,
I was like, I'm not gonna go there.
Maybe we'll do a little.
We'll talk about
it later
when this mic is on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I will say this is like a good opportunity to bring up that. I mean, you being a huge book reader, you also go through times where you don't want to read or where you're not really feeling it.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to acknowledge that all bookworms, I think that you see, I would be surprised if all bookworms like didn't go through a period that they just need help getting back into reading, because it's normal, life happens, and it's okay to take a step back. And if you're feeling upset about other people's consumption, then it's totally healthy to unfollow. Like, that's the thing is,
I don't have to follow these people.
Exactly.
And they don't have to follow me.
No. Yeah. And I feel like there's such a stigma about, oh, well, why are you letting that get to you? You know, like work on you. But it's like, no. Social media is hard, and social media sucks, and it can be toxic. And so if you need to take a step back to appreciate where you're at, then that's totally fine to do so.
Yeah, and it's just like if you guys follow us on Instagram, we put up a graphic today about like getting out of a reading slump.
Yes.
And in the caption we were like, dude, this happens to everyone. It doesn't matter if you're the biggest reader out there, like you're gonna have a reading slump at some point. And like it's normal. Like it's okay.
This is our plug to go to our Instagram page.
Go follow us. ASMR. Okay, so we're already at like 25 minutes and we haven't even started talking about our stuff.
Oh my god. How did that happen?
I don't know.
Okay, well, I want to bring up Margot Robbie and Sarah J. Maas.
Did you look into this at all?
Not a lot. I've read a lot of like speculation.
Have you seen the picture?
Only of Margot.
And then like Sarah J. Maas like slumped over.
Like the backside of her, but barely. There has to be other pictures.
I don't know. I heard that Sarah confirmed that it was her there.
Okay.
And then her husband, I didn't see it, but her husband allegedly posted a video about it.
Is there any disclaimer about what is it about?
No. So here's my thoughts. And I looked this up, and I was like reading some like Reddit threads and stuff. So Margot is a producer. She is part of, I don't know if her family owns like a production company or what. but Sarah J. Akatar is being adapted into a TV show or a movie, or it's
Isn't it already?
No, it's in the screenwriting phase. Okay. And from what I've heard is they've been saying that like
that's so much better.
Yeah, I know, way better. They're saying that like the writing phase is being slowed down a bunch because I can't remember how they worded it, but essentially Sarah J. Maas is being really strict about how they're writing the script, which
good
should.
for her. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes, I appreciate that.
Yeah. But yeah, so they think that Margot Robbie might be
Feyre?
No. Well, so that's another one. That's another theory.
I would love that.
Either she's gonna be Feyre, but people are saying like she's too old. She's in her 30s and Feyre's 19. But like it's true though. Like
it's true, but 19. She doesn't look 30.
She looks beautiful. She is stunning. She like I don't care too much about that, but like I still can't. I think somebody younger should be.
Okay, but did you watch Grease?
Yeah, but like
those people are like 40-year-olds,
but they don't. They look like they're 20. You know, like really.
No, I think when I was younger and I watched it, yes. But if you look at pictures of them, and Margot looks so young, and also the glow that they talk about in these books too, like the glow of their skin. I feel like they could really play off of that. I don't know.
I like the producer story better. I like that I like that she's gonna start getting into fantasy and be the producer of.
Well, she could be the producer and
star in it. Yeah.
But
like, people are saying that she should be Moore. Have you been introduced to Moore yet? M-O-R. Okay, so that might be in Mist and Fury, but there's another character named Moore, and people are saying she should if she played her, that would be amazing.
I've been a little bit slow into this book, and I think it's because I'm overwhelmed about how many books are to come and all the books that I have to be read now. I know. I need to just sit down, spend a day just reading it.
Yeah.
I think that'd be really nice. I just got some books for my birthday, and so now I'm wanting to start these books. We have our book of the month that I want to read, and
you need to just sit down and binge.
Have a day.
Binge some books. Yeah.
I could do that. If you were telling me to do that, I will do that. Okay.
And I know usually when we go on our coffee dates, we talk a lot.
We don't read.
So what we need to do is go to a coffee shop or a brewery, bring headphones.
Set a timer.
Yeah. And
don't talk to me.
And we'll do reading sprints. So let's read for the next 20 minutes and then we can talk for
that reminds me of getting on my book slump, but I'm not going to mention that here because you need to follow. You all need to follow us.
Go to our Instagram.
Plug number 2.
Yeah. But no, we should do that. And then, just you bust out a ton of that season.
Yes. So speaking of movie, let's talk about Emily Henry.
Oh, and her
subtly dropping an Instagram story.
That looked like it looked like the typewriter, like the front of a screenplay.
And it also looked like what is that called when, not acknowledgements, when a book at the beginning of it, it's like
what is that?
Oh my god, it's
the dedication.
I'm like, what is not the acknowledgement? Other side of the book.
Yeah.
It looked like almost like dedication.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out what it was, and then it clicked, and I was like, oh my gosh.
Yes.
So Book Lovers.
Which was arguably my favorite Emily Henry book.
Yeah, it's a lot of people's
That's
favorite.
When I think, because obviously they're all kind of melted together in my brain just because I read them all at once, but Book Lovers stood out. And I think it was because very much book related, the small town, all the good stuff.
Yes. It's getting adapted.
Yes.
Into, I'm hoping a movie.
What else do you think it would be?
A show. TV show. But I'm hoping it's a movie.
I agree. And I'm wondering when there's going to be more info out because we literally have not even a sentence.
Has anything been announced before this, or was this her announcement?
I feel like this was her subtle.
The first time
drop.
I've seen it, so it's big news for me.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
That's big. One of my other favorite movies that's gonna be, or it's not my favorite movie, but one of my favorite books that's gonna be coming into a movie is It Ends With Us, the Colleen Hoover book.
Yeah,
and I cannot think of his name right now. The producer, he was the guy on, what is that show? I can't think of it. But he's going to be producing it, and he's also going to be the main actor in it, too.
I don't remember who it is. Who is the girl again? People were really upset about
Blake Lively.
Yeah, the female casting. I don't know why. Like, I read that book, and I didn't enjoy it, but I did see a lot of, like, heat around people being upset about the... I hope they get rid of all the Ellen crap. Like, the letters to Ellen.
I know, that was a lot.
Dude, I cringed so bad to every single letter to Ellen. I was like, she really went to town with this.
There was a lot, for sure. I know, I wonder how they will...
I hope they just nix it, like, get rid of it.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting if they do keep that. That's going to be kind of awkward.
Really awkward.
I think. I didn't mind it too much in the book, but...
Maybe they can turn it into, like, her writing a letter to a family member, or her just, like, writing in her journal.
In her journal. That would make
Which
more
it was a journal, wasn't it? Or did she actually mail
No,
this
she
to
didn't.
Ellen?
I don't
remember.
I don't think that she did. I think that was just, maybe, I don't know. It's been a while. It's been a few. That was probably one of my, like, my third or fourth book in my, like, when I started binge reading books.
Yeah. Another author whose books are getting adapted is Taylor Jenkins Reid's, and most of her stuff got picked up for adaptations. Yeah.
I would be really interested in Daisy Jones and the Six.
It's already out. The TV show.
Are
you kidding me?
I live under a rock.
It's already out.
Wait, is it? Is it good? Have you watched it?
I've watched a few. I haven't watched it all. Because I don't think we have the... It's on Hulu. I want to say it's on Hulu, and we don't have Hulu
I don't have
anymore.
Hulu either. I need to get it, because everything lately people have been recommending is on Hulu. Yeah. I remember when I first read this book, and I was like, Nick, have you ever heard of Daisy Jones?
I thought they were real.
I thought they were real. He was like, no. But then I looked up music, and I was like, this doesn't seem like the music that I'm hearing in this book. And then I realized that it wasn't. But Taylor Jenkins Reid does such a good job of character development.
I thought it was a real band.
Yeah.
I thought she was legit writing. I thought she legit interviewed a real band.
Yeah, me too.
And then it took me, I think I was like halfway through the book, and then I was like, oh, I'm an idiot.
I felt the same.
Real dumb.
I think I literally texted you and was like, so they're not a real band? But also, I think it was how she wrote it, of being almost like...
interviews,
Yeah, it was like the name and then the text block about it. And that just made it feel very raw. It was so good. And it was weird. I was really nervous about that book when I saw that was it was like a script, kind of. And I was a little bit nervous about that format, but I really liked it. That was a really good book.
I heard the audiobook is incredible because every character has their own voice.
Oh, that would be good. I also just got, my birthday was on Friday. Yeah. And I got a few new books, and one of them was The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo.
Yeah, I can't wait.
So Nick my boyfriend, got me that book, and he also got me The Divine Rivals, and then the sequel to that book. And I opened them up, and I was like, did you call Amanda? Did you ask her the books that I wanted? Because he did so good, and there are literally two that are on like the top of my TBR. But I'm really excited because I want to read Malibu Rising by Taylor.
So good.
But I'm really impressed with her writing, so I'm very excited about that.
I don't know if you consider her books as a companion series, but they're all linked.
I remember you saying that back in the day.
Characters will like have cameos in other books.
Not Daisy Jones though, right?
Daisy Jones is mentioned.
Really?
Like they're in, I want to say Malibu Rising. Daisy Jones is mentioned because they're a really hot band during that time, and they're on like magazine covers, and so they'll be like, I'm flipping through a magazine, and on the cover is Daisy Jones and like all this stuff. So they're very brief mentions, and it's not something where you have to read them in order, but you got to read them all, and then you'll find goose eggs inside each book, and it's like, I remember Malibu. Gosh, which one was it? Daisy Jones. One of them. One of the characters from Malibu Rising was in there. Anyways, I can't remember exactly, but it blew my mind. I was like, oh my god! And I was so, like, invested.
It makes me feel like her mind must just be, like, chaotic. Of, like, trying to keep track of all these. Like, that's...
like Sarah J. Maas.
Oh, yeah.
Jessica Hastings, honestly. It's crazy how these people can just, like, write tons of books and then have them all linked together and have this grand scheme. And it's like, yeah, in the 5th book, and they're writing the 1st book, and they're like, but in the 5th book, this is going to happen.
I just watched a little interview clip of Sarah J. Maas talking about all, like, the other books that are going to be coming out that she's already signed for of the ACOTAR series.
It's like a ridiculous amount, right?
Yeah, it was a little crazy amount. And also, the other series that she has, what is that, The Throne of Glass, or The Glass?
Yeah, Throne of Glass.
Throne of Glass. Are those at all related to ACOTAR, or are they completely different?
It's a different world.
But
it's a different world.
Oh, okay.
Throne of Glass, she started writing when she was 16. Her first book she published at 16. And then, so she wrote Throne of Glass, and then while writing Throne of Glass, she wrote A Court of Thorns and Roses. So she was writing those 2 stories tandem. And then she's still working on A Court of Thorns and Roses, and she's writing Crescent City. So now she's writing those 2 series.
Do you ever put yourself in the shoes of an author and think about, A, what's going on in their mind, and also how do they compartmentalize?
I want to write a book so bad, but I can't figure it out. Like, I don't know if it's because I read too much. I read too many books, and so it's hard for me to sit down to write a book and have my own ideas. And the last thing I'd want to do is write a book and then somebody read it and be like, this is just like this other book, and then be like, shut up.
I mean,
I spent a year on this thing.
If we're being honest though, like, every romance book is like the same.
Yeah. Same tropes. Yeah.
Lovers to enemies to lovers.
Enemies to lovers. Yeah, enemies to lovers.
There's some lovers to enemies.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Speaking of, one of my favorite authors, Lucy Score, her sister, Madison
That's
Score.
That's crazy. I didn't know she had her sister.
You know, I'm holding my breath. I hate to say it. I want to read her book, but I'm a little bit nervous that it's going to fall short of my expectations. But she has a book that was just released, I think. It's called Bride something. Let's see, I have it right here. It is called Bride or Die.
Oh.
And it's like the same thing, like, sworn off relationships, opposites attract, all that. But that just came out. That was released, like, not even a week ago on the 29th of February.
Yeah, I didn't know that Lucy Score had a sister who writes. So I'd be interested to read that and see if their writing is similar. Mm-hmm. Maybe I like Lucy Score's writing. I just don't like how big they are.
Yes.
But
there's that other series that we just kind of figured out,
it's called The Dead Man Next Door.
The Dead Man Next Door, which came out in 2020. But it's the Riley
Publishing, Bloom Books Publishing just announced that there's a next one in the series
coming out. Yes. Yeah. And it's so funny. Riley Thorne is the name. I literally went to high school at the Riley Thorne.
That's hilarious.
And it was a small high school, so like that is a very specific name. And so I want to read it. The idea of the book sounds really good, but I really don't know if I can get into like a book with that name. I'm just gonna picture him the whole time, and I don't know how I feel about reading 4 books picturing this guy. He's a cool guy, but especially if it's a romance book, I don't know. Yeah, it's gonna be really weird. So we'll see.
It'll be your dreams.
Oh, I can't. Especially because the picture I have in my mind is just like high school boy. Just I can't.
Yeah, it's not good.
But it sounds really good, so I might just have to get past that.
Yeah.
There's also another book, a Christina Lauren book, and it is another Paradise one, The Paradise Problem.
Ooh.
And that is coming out soon.
Like, they put books out like crazy. It's
yes.
because they're
2 authors.
So it's a lot easier, but I don't know if it's a lot easier. What am I saying? But
it is not hard for them.
It seems like it'd be easier because you have 2 minds working. But.
Yeah, and you're only writing like hypothetically half a book. Yeah. And they're not that long of books. They're like a perfect read. I love Christina Lauren though. Yeah. I need to read more of them, but just I don't know, not the books that I have read, none of them are like the other one in the sense that
they're not tandem. They're not companions. But
we should count how many times we have said companion.
I know.
In this episode.
Yeah. Okay, so another book I'm excited about is An Education in Malice, and this is one that you're not too familiar with.
Yes.
But it's by S.T. Gibson, and she wrote one of my favorite books of last year, A Dowry of Blood. And this is a Dracula. I don't know if you call it a Dracula retelling, but probably. But it's about like Dracula's like first like love, like his wife, essentially, like the one woman that he had in his life like the whole time. But it follows her, and it is so good, and I was so obsessed. So when I saw she was coming out with another book, I was like, I have to get it. So I'm really excited about that.
When is it coming out?
It's out now.
Oh, okay.
It just came out. I'm not gonna read it until I get the matching special edition for this one. I'll just read that. But
are you gonna read the hardcover, the special edition it comes in?
Yeah.
How many special editions do you read, or do you just try to read?
Very like if I know I'm gonna keep the book forever, I'll read it. But if I'm like I might get rid of this at some point, then I won't read it because I don't want to get rid of it when it's damaged. But no, I'm really excited, and I guess it's like a dark academia, vampire-esque type book, and it's like on a campus or something. But
I love academia books.
I know. You should get into dark academia. It's fantasy, but like college. But they're great.
Okay.
R.F. Kuang has a great one called Belle, and I haven't read it yet, but it's one of like the really talked about ones. And
is that dark academia as well?
Yeah. I need to read that one, but there's some good ones out there.
Speaking of academia, Allie Hazelwood.
Oh yeah, she's coming out with her new STEM.
Mm-hmm.
Her STEM books. I need to catch up on her STEM romances.
I need to.
I read The Love Hypothesis, and that's it.
Yes.
This next one is called. I have it here. Not in Love, and the cover looks so different compared to her other STEMs. So, I'm interested in. Is it? I don't think I've
seen the cover of it yet.
Yeah.
But no, I love her STEM books.
Yeah. You're in STEM, so.
Yeah. Well, I was in STEM.
Yeah.
Shout out to my graduation.
She graduated.
Yeah, and I remember reading it, and I remember reading it and being like, I would have not known anything that she's talking about if I read this like 2 years ago.
Right.
But it was interesting. Like, I guess I never thought about the two worlds colliding.
Yeah.
And so it was like warming, I guess. I felt understood.
Yeah.
And it was like
Some people say they felt seen.
Exactly. I felt seen, and I felt like I was reading something for fun, but I was also reading something for education. Mm-hmm. There's no education at all, but I was like, I know exactly what she's talking about. But I really liked her books, and I really need to read more of her books. My TBR is like through the roof right now. I'm kind of overwhelmed by it, to be honest with you. And I think that's why I'm being held up with the second book of Alcatar, because I'm just like,
you're overwhelmed.
I'm daydreaming about all the other books to read, but I'm like so into this one, and I really want to give it the like full thought. And I think that's why I've taken a step back, is because I don't feel like I can give it my full self.
I'm gonna start like texting you and being like, have you read today?
Yes.
If you have not, read right now.
Yes. Well, you know what? We'll go for a little date in the next couple of days, and we'll set our timer.
You can't come to the podcast every week and be like, I'm still reading this book.
I know. In my defense, it is a 600-page book, so
you can read it. And
I know. I can literally read it. Your
boyfriend is a gamer.
I know. And he's been playing a lot. He just got a new computer also, so I really have no excuse. I've just been sitting there like, hang out with me. I should be. I know. Did he call you before this and tell you to say that?
He called me. No. That's funny.
I mean, honestly, I feel like he did, just based on the books he got me for my birthday.
Right.
He's been in contact with you lately, Amanda.
We're friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Conspiring against you to read more.
We're at 45 minutes.
Wow.
We were going to try to keep these podcasts at like 20 minutes.
20, 30 minutes.
Not gonna happen.
We
were at the end of that before we even started talking about these. We have a lot more books we wanted to talk about, but we'll spare you guys. The one I did want to mention is Girl Abroad. And I don't know a ton about it, but I'm seeing it everywhere. And I'm like having massive FOMO. But it seems really interesting. It's about like a daughter to a rock star who goes to study abroad, and she goes to stay in this house that she thought she was going to have female roommates, but it's 3 men. And then she ends up, like, apparently catching feelings for 2 of the 3. And I'm like, what?
I
And
saw
she's
there's
lying
Broody
to her
Sunshine
dad.
in there, too.
Yeah, lying to her dad about, like, who her roommates
It
are.
looks
and
good.
stuff.
It looks
Yeah.
good. We maybe
I'm
need to do it
interested.
for one of our books of the month.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
I'm excited. But anyways, we will wrap this up.
We will.
Anyways, thank you guys so much
We
for
need to work on our
listening.
outros a little bit.
I know, we're bad at these. It's
I know.
okay.
Intro, outro, we're just like, oh, hey.
Hey, what's up?
And hey,
What's
bye.
up?
What's up?
But thank you guys for watching. Be sure to check out our social medias. Everything will be linked in the description box on YouTube and then on Spotify as well. We're also on TikTok.
Oh, yes.
Not very active on there, but we post some reels every now and then. But we are on there as
Thanks
well.
to you, Amanda, for doing all this beautiful stuff on our socials. You're so good at this.
Yeah, don't make me waste my time. Everybody go follow us right now.
Exactly. Amanda, you have some really fun things planned for the Instagram, just some posts, get to know us a little bit more. Yeah, I think it's going to be really exciting.
Yeah, so make sure you guys follow us. And like we said before, new episodes every Friday. So we will see you guys next week.
Peace. Da-da-da-da. I keep doing like a McDonald's thing.
I know, it's my go-to. I love it.